Hey class, what's going on? This is Mr. Peters. I'm recording a video for you guys for your review for your exam. These are the review points for the checkpoints. Please make sure you study. If you have any questions, I'll give you my email address at the end. All right, concept one. Is this relationship represented in the table of function? Justify your answer. So we talked about functions for the whole unit. And remember, a function is for every input. Okay, we talked about inputs being x. There is one output, which we talked about the output being y. Okay, so for every input x, there's one output y. So let's take a look. So -2, the answer is 3. Okay, that's different. 0 is 4. Okay. 1 is -3. Okay. 3 is -2. And 6 is 0. So for every input, they only have one output. So is this a function? Yes. This is a function, and your answer is justified in that answer below. So your answer will be yes, if for every input x, there's one output. So again, in order for it to be a function, for every input, it has to have one output. It has to be the same output. An example of something that's not a function. So not a function would be if I had 2, 3, and then I had 2, 0. So 2 has two different outputs. In this case, one is 3 and one is x. So this is not a function. Okay. Okay. Checkpoint 2. What function family does y equals 2x minus 3 belong to? Explain how you know. Now, guys, you have to remember something. We talked about this in the chart. Because it's 2x minus 3, this is a linear function. Okay? This is a linear function. Okay? If you're confused, whatever the functions are, graph it. So I'm going to go to my calculator. I'm going to turn it on. I'm going to press y equals. And I'm going to type in 2x. In this case, it says -1. I'll change that 1 to a 3. And I'm going to click graph. And it's a linear function. Okay? Meaning that it's a function. It passes the vertical line text and it's linear. Okay? Second one. What function does this one do? So, again, I'm going to kind of go back to the graph. Press y equals. I'm going to type in 2x square plus 3x plus 6. I'm going to press graph. And I see my u. Based on our notes, we talked about use the parabolas. So if this is a parabola, then this is a quadratic function. Okay, quadratic function. So my answer in this case is a quadratic function. Okay? So just to clarify, the linear function has a line, looks something like this. Quadratic at the bottom has a u. We also have a v, which is absolute. We also have something like this that is exponential. Okay, and we have cubic roots, but we're not going to spend too much time on cubic roots, okay? Okay, concept 3. Evaluate each of the following equations for f of x equals 2x plus 4. Two ways you could do it. Algebraically, you can replace the x with the -8. You replace the x with the 0. You replace the x with the 17. So what you could do is f of -8 equals 2. Instead of x, I'm going to put -8 plus 4. 2 times -8 is -16. -16 plus 4 is -12. So my answer for f of x is -12. You could do the same thing twice again, or in this case, you can use a calculator. So the same idea, press y equals. Because it's a f of x, I know it's y equals. I'm going to put 2x plus 4. And I'm going to look at the table. And it gives me my answer. So let's check it. Make sure my math is not off. Boom. -8 is -12. So if I want to do that for 0, I can go down and check 0. and I know 0 is going to be 4. Okay, and let's just to confirm it, f of 0 equals 2. Instead of x, I'm going to put 0 plus 4. 2 times 0 is 0. 0 plus 4. Well, boom. I did my mark. I got 4. Same thing, 17. And again, I can go to the graph and do it. So I'm going to go up, down to 17. And my answer is going to be 38. Okay, so for this question, you can plug it in the calculator. You can replace the x with the number inside. Number 4. It says, given function, so the first function is f of x equals x. Second function is g of x equals 2x minus 3. And I want to know when the value of x is 0, which function is greater? Explain your answer. So if the value of x is 0, I'm going to replace x with 0. So anytime I have an x, I'm going to put a 0. So f of 0 in this case is just 0. Same thing here. I'm just going to put a 0. Anytime I have an x, I'm going to put a 0. Okay, so in this case, 2 times 0 is 0. 0 minus 3 is negative 3. So g of 0 is negative 3. And in this case, f of 0 is 0. So which function is greater? Clearly, we know that 0 is greater. How do you know? Because 0 is greater than negative 3 when we plugged in the work. Okay? Questions? Again, rewind the video. Okay. Have some fun. So it says graph f of x. I have two functions. I have 2x plus 1 and I have 5x minus 4. I'm going to put a line right here so I separate the two. Now it tells us what number I'm starting at. I'm starting at the number 2. That says when x is less than or equal to negative 2. So again, when x is less than or equal to negative 2. So I'm going to use my calculator for this one. I'm going to press y equals, write my question. So it's going to be negative 2x plus 1. I'm going to press second in table so I can see the table. And I'm going to 2. So when x is 2, the first one is going to be negative 3. So when x is 2, I'm going to go to negative 3. Now, because it's equal to, I know it's going to be a closed circle. It's going to look something like that, okay? Let's do the rest of our points. And just to be clear, am I going to 1 or am I going to 3? Well, it's simple. It says less than. Because it's less than, I'm going down. So after 2, I'm going to go to 1. So it's going to be 1, negative 1. It's going to be 0, 1. 0, 1. Oh, sorry, 0, 1. 2, negative 2. It's going to be 1. I'm bugging. 2, 5. Negative 2, 5. So negative 2, 5 is here. Negative 3, 7. Negative 4, 9. So negative 3, 7. 3, 4, 5, 6. Negative 3, 7. And the last one is negative 4, 9. And based on this graph, I'm going to draw my line like this. So the first function I graded was right there. So now I'm going to look at my second function. My second function in this case is 5x minus 4. I'm still starting at 2, so I'm going to my question. I'm going to change it to 5x minus 4. 5x minus 4. I'm going to press second in table again. And again, I'm starting at 2, and it says x is greater than 2. So if x is greater than 2, I'm looking at every number greater than 2. So I'm going to go up. So my first one is 2, 6. Because I'm at 2, 6, and it's no equal then sign, it's going to be an open circle. Okay. Then I'm going to go up. First one is going to be 3, 11. So that's going to be 3, 11 up here. And this is my graph. That's it. Okay. A couple more questions. Then you should be good to go. Okay. Concept 6. ball is thrown into the air from the edge of a 48-foot high cliff so that eventually it lands on the ground. The graph below states the height y of the ball from the ground after x seconds. State the interval at which the ball height is increasing. So I'm going to look at something. I'm going to say, where's this ball increasing from? I'm going to start and realize that. I'm going to trace it in. So my first step is maybe to trace it in. Okay. The ball starts here, and it's increasing. And then it stops increasing right about there. So Mr. Swenson kind of mentioned in class about doing a box. So you should do a box. Box and where it's increasing. Okay? So I'm going to look first, the interval where it's increasing, it's starting at 0. Okay? Because it's starting at 0. 0 is right here. Interval increasing, we're looking at the x. It goes right about here, so that's going to be actually 2.5. So that is the interval in which it is increasing. Okay, from 0 to about 2.5. Okay? That seems pretty straightforward. So again, your best bet is just to trace it in to make sure you know where it's increasing, okay? Okay. Which of the following values of x will make the equation below true? Copy the relevant section of the table to justify your choice. So what am I doing? In essence, because x is 1, 4, 5, and 0, all I'm doing is substituting, okay? So let's try the first one. So instead of x, this is my equation. Instead of x, I'm going to put a number. So instead of x, in this case, I'm going to put 1. Okay, and again, instead of x, I'm going to put 1. And then if I do the work right, it's going to equal 7. If I do the work wrong, it's not going to equal 7. 1 squared is 1, plus 2 times 1 is 2, plus 4. 1 and 2 is 3, 3 and 4 is, I got it right, it's 7. So my answer to this first question is actually A. If I did the work and it didn't work, then it wouldn't equal 7. So let's just choose 4, for example. Let me use 4. I'm going to use 0 instead, just to show you how it doesn't work. 0 squared plus 2 times 0 plus 4. Okay? 0 to the second power is 0. 2 times 0 is 0 plus 4. 0 plus 0 is 0. 0 plus 4 is 4. And 4 does not equal 7. So that's how you know that that is not your answer. Okay? But we did the work. Our answer is 1. Okay. Domain and range. Domain and range. Mr. Swenson talked about this in class. You should put a box on this. It goes here to here. It cuts here. Kind of cuts there. And, right? And it kind of ends here. But there's something interesting going on. It actually has something. It has an arrow. So that arrow is telling you that the domain and range is going to keep going in a certain direction. So let's look at the x first. I'm going to change the color so we can see the x first. Okay. Oh, sorry. So I'm looking at where this thing starts on the x-axis. When I look, I realize that this keeps going. So this thing is going to keep going up on the x-axis. But because it's on the x-axis and it's going that direction, my domain is actually going to be negative theta. Okay? So it's going to keep going that direction. I notice it stops right here on the x. So it stops at 2. So that is my domain. My range, let's see. I'm looking at this axis. Because this arrow is going up, it seems to, again, that the range is going to keep going. So it's actually theta. Okay? So this is actually theta. Okay? Because this is theta, I'm now looking down at the lowest point of the graph. So when I look at the lowest point of the graph, it is right here. So that lowest point is negative 4. So your range is negative 4. So again, the range is the y and the domain is the x. Okay. Last question on the concepts. Oh. I'm trying to turn it a little bit. Give me 1 sec, guys. Okay. Oh, did we do concept 6 already? I think this is the copy. So we did 9, we did 7, we did 6, we did 5, we did 4, we did 3, we did 2, we did 1. I think we're good to go. So guys, that's just a repeat of the questions. If you have any questions or concerns, if you have any questions, please email me. Email me. Okay. Good luck. Study.